Hello and welcome to our next episode of The Outstanding Personal. In this series, we will discover the stories of everyday's heroes and heroines who inspire and uplift the society. Today, we have Colonel Ajay Chowdhry is with us. Colonel Ajay Chowdhry was born in 29th November 1963. He was commissioned in the year of 1985 after graduating from NDA and JNU. He's a professional soldier, a sports person, and he's an author of three great books. He's a lifelong learner and entrepreneur. He has a mission to touch millions' hearts and help people to achieve their dreams. He has a dream too. He want to build a home for homeless people and animals. So now let us welcome Colonel Ajay Chowdhry. Hello, sir. How are you doing today?
Hi Sangeeta, good afternoon. I'm doing great. How are you? How's Sanjeev? How's everybody at home?
Sir, we all are good and I'm
Great.
doing great. It's a
Wonderful.
privilege. After a long time, we are talking face to face. और
Yes, yes.
आपका इस सीरीज में सर आपने आपका कंट्रीब्यूशन देने के लिए सबसे पहले तो मैं आपका समय का और आपका धन्यवाद करती हूँ कि आप काफी टाइम से हमारा चल रहा था और आप इसमें आए तो थैंक यू सो मच सर और
Thank
हम
you
सर
for
अभी
the.
अपनी बातचीत को आगे बढ़ाते हैं और जैसे कि मैं सभी से सर पूछती हूँ कि आप अपनी फैमिली के बारे में बताइए अपने बारे में बताइए और आपने आर्म फोर्सेस कैसे ज्वाइन की प्लीज इसके बारे में बताइए
Sangeeta, my mother and my father, they were both in the army. So my father was in the ordnance, my mother was in the military nursing service. So natural progression, when we cleared our 11th, we also appeared for the NDA exam from our school, where about 15, 16 friends appeared. And in that exam, of course, then me and my twin brother, we were the only kids from the army fraternity who cleared the exam, and four were from the civil background. And then, of course, from there we went to NDA. From NDA, we came to IMA and then came into the army.
वो सर आपकी फैमिली तो पूरी वॉरियर की फैमिली है आपके मम्मी पापा दोनों आर्मी में थे तो ये तो सर थैंक यू सो मच आपकी फैमिली को फॉर देयर सर्विस टुवर्ड्स द नेशन और
Thank
सर
you. Thank you, sir.
जब
You are worth it.
और सर जब आप जब आर्मी में आए सर तो आपकी तो जगह जगह पोस्टिंग हुई होगी और मैंने जब आपका बायो पढ़ा था तो उसमें था कि आपने बहुत सारे कोर्स किए सर तो उन कोर्सों के बारे में सर बताइए वो मुझे बहुत यानी लगता है कि इतने सारे कोर्स आपने किए तो उनके बारे में जरा बताइए
Once you join the army, हमने सोचा था कि पढ़ाई लिखाई करनी नहीं पड़ेगी, but that was a misnomer. जितना हम लोग ने पढ़ाई किया है आर्मी में आने के बाद, it is really shocking. But army में, as you keep progressing up the ladder, there are a number of courses which are mandatory and there are a number of courses which become optional. तो जो मैंडेटरी कोर्सेज होते हैं वो आपको करने ही पड़ते हैं. बाकी ऑप्शनल में डिपेंडिंग ऑन द अवेलेबिलिटी ऑफ द ऑफिसर्स and the aptitude, you get detailed and you go and do that course. So in my career, I have done what is known as the young officers course, in which we were taught about basic the major weapon systems which we have to handle inside infantry battalion. Of course, then we were taught the basic tactics which we need to master at our level as platoon commanders and company commanders. Then we go through our mandatory leg, which is known as the commando leg. So that commando training is something which I think everybody should undergo, and it shows you how much your mind and your body can take, how resilient we actually are. तो उसके बाद then I did something known as the all arms officers combat engineering course. Then went on to do the junior command course, where you're taught to look after your company and beyond. Then, of course, uske baad, there were some other courses which came along the way, like driving and maintenance. And then, of course, uske baad I became an instructor. So, instructor में तो कोई course नहीं करना पड़ा. But then I started preparing for what is known as the Defense Services Staff College. So, after good effort being put in, managed to clear the exam and went for the millennial course, which was there in 2000, 2001. And well, those were the major courses that I did. And when you do that course, you get a master's degree in defense studies and strategic analysis from Madras
Oh,
University. तो उसके अलावा मैंने अपना मास्टर्स किया हुआ है इन एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, दैट इज एमबीए, एंड देन आई हैव गॉट अ मास्टर्स इन जर्नलिज्म एंड मास कम्युनिकेशन. So these are my major courses and qualifications that I have done throughout my tenure in the army.
ये तो आपको पढ़ने का, यू आर अ लाइफ लॉन्ग लर्नर. आपने तो बहुत सारे कोर्स कर डाले सर.
मैंने बहुत पहले एक लाइन सीखी थी किसी से. वो कहते हैं कि जब तक आप कुछ सीख रहे हो, दैट इज एवरी डे यू लर्न समथिंग, यू आर अलाइव. द डे यू स्टॉप
यस,
लर्निंग समथिंग, you become a vegetable and your life is over. So I try to keep learning or learn something every day, and I am grateful to God that I am blessed. I keep learning something or the other, maybe from my pets, from my wife, from my mother-in-law, from my friends. So every day is a learning.
यस, वी कैन लर्न फ्रॉम एनीबॉडी. यस,
Absolutely.
या एटीट्यूड इज रिक्वायर्ड फॉर लर्निंग. लर्निंग एटीट्यूड रहेगा तो हम किसी
Absolutely.
से भी सीख सकते हैं.
Absolutely. That's why they say that you must have an open mind. An open mind, like they say, is like a parachute. Both function best when they are open.
यस, ग्रेट. सर आपने तो आपकी तो पोस्टिंग बहुत जगह हुई होगी, आपने बहुत सारे ऑपरेशंस लीड किए होंगे. एंड वो ऑपरेशन जो आपके क्लोज टू हार्ट है, ऐसे एक दो ऑपरेशन के बारे में जरा कुछ बताइए सर.
स्पेसिफिक डिटेल्स तो शायद नहीं दे पाऊंगा, बट आई विल ब्रॉडली टेल यू. Both these operations were in the ones in which I nearly said goodbye to the world. So I got posted to Kashmir in April 96, after I had finished my instructor's tenure at Nagpur. And within 5 days of joining my unit, I was told that I should go and take over a company which was supposed to be in a very hot zone. And that company commander was a young captain who apparently was unable to take control of that area, and we were under pressure from the terrorists. So I went there. There's a place called Anantnag, and Khanabal. So Khanabal is the place where my unit was. We had to cross the Lidder River. After we crossed the Lidder River, I had to walk for about 3-4 hours because vehicles could not be used, because the militants used to mine a place, improvised explosive devices on the road to blow up army vehicles. So nearly 4 hours चलने के बाद I reached the camp. I took over the camp, and after the normal period of handing taking over of 4 days, I started sending out my patrols and I started stepping out to start taking control of the area. In this duration, I got information that there was one militant who was who was responsible for the killing of one CO, two company commanders, and three other officers in different parts of that Anantnag district. And I was given the information that he has come to visit his girlfriend, which was in a village close to my location. I was told that the only guy who could give me the information was one person who was supposed to be close to him. So in the night, at around 1:30, we went, surrounded the village. I picked up this man. We came back to our camp, and from 2 o'clock in the night till about 5 o'clock in the morning, we did not let him sleep, and we sat and we kept questioning him. At 5:30 in the morning, he tells me that okay, if you go here to this area, we might meet this man. So now, since I was new to the area, I did not know too much about the area. Anyway, I took out three patrols, two under my junior officers, one under me. We surrounded that area that he was talking about, and then we landed up at that village that he spoke about. So when we went to the village, he said it's not inside the village, it is outside the village. So we went where he was taking us. He took us towards the hillside, and there was a nala coming down from the top into the village. And he started walking along the left bank of this nala towards the top. So that time I had two Naga boys as my scouts, and there was a Kashmiri soldier who was my buddy, who used to walk next to me and keep translating. So when we had gone about halfway up the slope, the Nagas suddenly stood somewhere and said, "Sir, we can hear something, but it's not very clear." So they froze, so we deployed and we started searching. And then this Kashmiri boy, he was looking into the Nala, and then he told me, "Sir, come here, there's something wrong there." I said, "What?" So he showed me the opposite bank of the Nala, which was about 6 feet deep, and we were standing on top. And in the middle of that, or the lower portion of that Nala, there was grass. But the grass, instead of growing up and looking fresh and green, was drooping downwards and slightly browned at certain places. So when he was pointing that out, I heard the sound of, when you cock the rifle to fire, you hear that noise. Snick करके आवाज आता है जो. The moment I heard that noise, I pushed him and he pushed me, and one complete burst from AK-47 went between both of us. And thanks be to God, I mean, both of us survived. And then, of course, there was a massive firefight which took place, in which this militant, along with one more militant who was his understudy, both of them were inside that hole. So we injured them. One chap died on the spot. The other guy who was responsible for the killing got injured. So we dragged them out, searched inside. We found a lot of weapons, a lot of ammunition, a lot of grenades. We recovered all that. And in the meantime, since this boy was injured, my nursing assistant was with me. So I told him, keep him alive. We need to get him to the headquarters. Though I saw that the wounds were quite grievous because his leg had got blown off, and one burst had gone through his left side. So I didn't know whether he would survive or not, but I made an attempt. So we fixed him up with an IV, got him on the stretcher, and we came back to our camp. And everybody along that route, of course, saw that this man had been captured. The other guy was killed, and we were treating him and trying to keep him alive, sustain him. That helped towards building my image of humane and man of his word who lived up to his commitments in that area. So this was one operation where I nearly died, and this was within 7 days of taking over. तो उसके बाद about half years later, Our unit was moved from South Kashmir to North Kashmir to the south of Kupwara. So
Oh,
there's a town called Kupwara and another town close by which is called Handwara. So we were south of Kupwara but slightly closer to Handwara. And this was another terrible area where militancy was its highest. तो वैसे ही एक दिन शाम को खबर आई कि देयर इज अ विलेज ऑन द साउथ वेस्ट बैंक ऑफ अ लेक the northern bank of the lake, there's a mountain which surrounds the lake on two sides. And from the village, was in the southwest direction, there were two roads, one coming towards Handwara, one going towards Kupwara. So we got information that there was a group of foreign militants who were up on that ridge, and they used to come down on a particular day, that is on a Friday. On every Friday, they used to come down, uh, have a bath in the lake, then come into the village. Come into the village, then take groceries, take whatever they needed as assistant cooks and all that, pick up a few girls, and then go back into the mountains for another 1 week. So we went, and at 3 o'clock in the morning, we managed to lay an ambush, and we were all deployed waiting for these guys to come down. So if the track was coming down like this, we were on both sides of the track with our weapons aimed downwards and waiting to see when they'll come to the lake. So 3 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 10 o'clock तक कोई नहीं आया. And that day, as luck would have it, I was wearing my combat dress, but I was wearing, नीचे I was wearing a white sneakers. तो मैंने कहा 10 बज गए नहीं आया, let me go ahead and see if there's somebody at the lake. So I got up, and this guy who was the informer, the civilian guy, he came with me, and we walked about 20 yards down to the edge of the lake, and we sat down next to a huge tree. These pine trees are there, a really massive tree. I was sitting next to it, next to the track, and I was looking downwards and wondering कि कोई आ नहीं रहा. तो धूप भी चढ़ गई थी since we were away from yesterday. तो मुझे भी थोड़ी सी झपकी लगने लगी. I lay down and I think dozed off. And my weapon was on the side, and this guy was sitting next to me, the informer. Suddenly, I felt him shaking my leg and telling me, "Saab, saab, utho, utho." So I lying down only with my legs crossed like this, one on top of the other. So only white sneakers could be seen, and of course my combat dress, and I was lying down on my back. So when he woke me up, I got up and he told me, "साहब धीरे से पीछे देखना, आ गए." I said, "Okay." So I looked back like this, and 20 yards behind me, just where the jungle opened up and the track was coming into the open, there were two guys standing and looking at both of us. And both had long hair. One had a headband. Both had weapons on the shoulders, and they were looking at us because they got confused because of my white shoes, and that saved me that day. So now I knew if I so I sat up slowly, looked at them. I put my hand out to take my weapon, and this guy saw me reaching for the weapon. He got scared, the informer. So in that fear, he got up and started running, and he took my bloody weapon with him. अब उसमें जो है, when he started running, these guys suddenly saw कि why is he running, and I'm telling them to come ahead. So that is the time when they started taking off their AK, and I saw that barrel coming towards me, and the first time in my life I saw that small rifle ka barrel which looked like a cannon, and there were two of them pointing at me. So what I did was I just जैसा बैठा था वहीं से मैंने डाइव मार दिया पेड़ के पीछे. And the moment I dived, if I had stood up to run behind this guy, I would have died that day. So they fired at hip level. The burst went over my head, and this guy was running. So he got one bullet in his back and he fell down there 15 yards away. And since these guys started firing, I was behind the tree. I started yelling, and then my boys got up and they opened fire. And that day, by luck, twist of fate, whatever you may call it, again I got saved. But we got these two Afghani militants. So these are two operations which sometimes make me wonder कि अगर उस दिन भगवान ने लिख दिया होता तो आज शायद मैं यहाँ नहीं होता. But the first operation itself had taught me one thing, that if I had to die, I would have died that day. And since I did not die, that meant that I was supposed to do something else. And so I carried on like that with full faith in God. Every time I used to step out, I used to pray to Him and tell Him, "Ki if let whatever is destined happen, whatever you have destined, I cannot fight that. But in case something happens, I should go down fighting, and I should not go down running like a coward." So that is how I lived my life there in J&K, and these were two major operations, which really keep me sometimes, give me nightmares also. But that's okay. That's part of life.
So, बहुत ही एकदम डू और डाई वाली सिचुएशन है. आपने जिस तरीके से नरेट किया, ऐसा लग रहा था पूरा सीन सामने ही है. और ये तो सर आपका
Sangeeta, मैं अकेला ही नहीं हूँ. All the army officers are like this. When we go out there, we only see our duty and we try to do our best. And I'm sure there are so many others who have done much better than me. And but that is how we make what we are today as the armed forces, and we stand by each other.
इट इज यानी डिस्प्ले ऑफ अपने पूरा अपने टीम के लिए इतना प्यार है आपके अंदर, आपके देशवासियों के लिए, आपने इतना एक्स्ट्रा ऑर्डिनरी करेज आपके अंदर है. आपने इस ऑपरेशन को कैसे यानी अंजाम दिया होगा, वी कैन अंडरस्टैंड सर.
Thank you.
ऐसे सब इंसिडेंट आपके साथ तो यानी आपने तो बहुत सारे ऑपरेशन में पार्टिसिपेट किया, आपने लीड किया. तो ये तो आपका बहुत ही बड़ी जर्नी है सर. लेकिन मुझे सर ये समझ में नहीं आता, एक फौजी ऑथर कैसे बन गया?
फौजी ऑथर कैसे बन गया? मैं जिंदगी में आई हैड व्हेन आई वाज अ यंग किड आल्सो, व्हेन आई यूज्ड टू राइट लेटर्स, so people used to tell me that I have a flair for writing and putting down anecdotes which used to make them laugh. तो मेरे यूनिट वाले भी, there were a lot of ladies, senior officers' wives, who used to see me writing things for certain magazines and all that. So they got after me कि you should start writing. इनिशियली तो मैंने भी आई ट्राई टू स्टॉल इट कि क्या करना है, किस लिए लिखना है. But then one day I came across one guy whose name is Vanchit Upadhyay. And he said that, you can turn writing into a great venture to earn money. I was asking how to earn money like that. तो उसके साथ बैठा, उसने कुछ सिखाया. उसके बाद I got motivated, because if you can earn also, so why not put that skill to use? So that is how I started writing my books. The first book I wrote was on my pets, because I and my wife, we really love animals, basically dogs. And we have 4 pets with us. One is a Rottweiler, 2 are retrievers, 1 male, 1 female, and we have a Doberman. तो मैंने इनके ऊपर जो है रिसर्च करके किताब लिखी कि हाउ दे आर सो helpful to human beings in so many different ways, whether it is for a special child or a soldier who's suffering from trauma, or somebody who's had who's lonely in life, old people, young people, people who are differently abled, how they help them to get on in life. So that was my first book. That was met with quite medium average or medium uh, welcome. The second book I wrote was when I was guided by my research on Amazon, and Christmas was coming. So Christmas may America and all these countries, they look forward to having books to give to their kids. and they look for books which can help the children become self-sufficient in life. So there was a demand for making boys self-sufficient and आत्मनिर्भर. तो मैंने सेकंड बुक लिखी थी उसके ऊपर, which is known as the 9 essential skills to master boys 8 to 14. That met with quite a bit of welcome reception, got a very good reception. After that, then I wrote my third book based on the demand of my sons, their friends, my nephews, and certain other friends. So this book was a research and a light-hearted comparison between two elixirs of life. That is, one is beer, which was made by man, and cannabis or weed, which has been created by God. And these have been coming down through the ages, and they have different uses, different benefits. So उसके ऊपर मैंने तीसरी किताब लिखी थी, which got quite a rousing welcome. And some like Barnes and Noble and all, they have picked up this book, printed it, and put it in certain bookstores. And now I'm working on the fourth book, which is for girls, to make them also same, because Christmas will come up after 3-4 months. So I'm writing this book to be marketed somewhere around November, mid-November, so that it will be ready for the market to be gifted to young girls in USA, Europe, etc., for the Christmas season. So that is how I got into writing books.
आपकी नई बुक के लिए ऑल द बेस्ट सर। और आपकी 3 बुक्स तो पब्लिश हो चुकी है, चौथी बुक भी आपकी जल्दी आ जाएगी।
थैंक यू
और सर,
संगीता, थैंक
आपने तो बहुत सारी चीज की है, यानी ऑथर भी बन गए, फिर आप तो एक अभी नाउ यू आर अ सक्सेसफुल एंटरप्रेन्योर एज वेल। इस उम्र में फौज से रिटायर होने के बाद सोचते हैं चलो भाई अभी घूमना फिरना चालू करेंगे, सारी जिंदगी तो सेक्रीफाइस की है, लेकिन आप तो है थकने का नाम ही नहीं लेते, रुकने का नाम ही नहीं लेते। अभी आप एंटरप्रेन्योर, यू आर एंटरप्रेन्योर एज वेल, तो उसके बारे में थोड़ा शॉर्ट में बताइए।
मैंने आपको बताया था ना कि एवरी डे यू मस्ट लर्न समथिंग. So my endeavor, like I said, is to learn something, and if you can make something out of that, why not? So basically, in this journey of writing books, I also got into doing research on stocks and shares, options trading, then cryptocurrency. ये सब करते हुए, I majorly got into cryptocurrency, became an entrepreneur there. I've got major investments there. And उसको करते करते, then one day one friend of mine, he came across me and we were sitting and chatting, and he said कि Kal Saab, what are you doing with your time? So I said, this is what I do. तो कहता, you have time to spare in the day? मैंने कहा, yeah, I have. It's not that I'm busy writing the book throughout the day, so I have time. So he said, okay, would you be open to exploring certain options? मैंने कहा, of course, why not? सीखने में क्या जाता है, सीखेंगे. So that is how, when he showed me that option, which has got tremendous potential. मेरे तो पहले बता रहा हूँ कि मेरे होश उड़ गए थे, बट लाइक आई सेड, मैंने तो उसको बोला कि ये पोटेंशियल छोड़ दे, अगर इसमें मेरे को 25% भी मिलता है, मोर देन हैप्पी. And my wife looked at me and said, if this is possible, then I think we should go ahead, because major fraternity, of course, involved there was also armed forces. So we didn't look too much, and we jumped into the fray. And with God's grace and God's blessings, life is good. As an entrepreneur, we are learning new things, understanding new concepts, and moving ahead in life. So a lot of dreams to be fulfilled. And Colonel Saunders, who founded KFC, वो तो जाके मिलियनर बना था at the age of 68. तो हमारे पास तो अभी बहुत टाइम है. We still have 7 years to go. तो hopefully हम उससे पहले बन जाएंगे. So God's blessings and good wishes of friends like you are always welcome, and I'm sure we'll do that.
ओके सर। सर, अभी आप हमारे ऑडियंस के लिए क्या मैसेज देना चाहते हैं?
ऑडियंस के लिए मेरे तरफ से एक ही मैसेज होगा कि रिमूव दिस वर्ड इम्पॉसिबल फ्रॉम योर डिक्शनरी. देयर इज नथिंग व्हिच इज इम्पॉसिबल. This I have learned throughout my journey in the army as well as now as an entrepreneur. everything is possible. And like one very dear friend who's a guide and mentor to me, he says, everything in life happens twice. The first time it happens here in your mind, and once you can see it in your mind and you can visualize it, it materializes on ground. So there is nothing impossible. Throw that word out and go for whatever you set your heart on. With God's blessings, you will always achieve it.
Nothing is impossible. Right,
Nothing
sir.
is impossible.
थैंक यू सर, आपने हमारे साथ बातचीत करने के लिए बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। आपने अपना कीमती समय दिया और अभी आपकी आगे की एंटरप्रेन्योर जर्नी है और आपकी 4th बुक का हम सब लोग वेट करेंगे और आपका दिन शुभ हो।
Thank you, Sangeeta. Thank you for the privilege of being on your show. It was a pleasure talking to you. And I am sure with God's blessings and good wishes from friends like you, things will be all okay. And the moment the book is finished, I will let you know. Thank you. Thank you for your time and thank you
थैंक यू
for
सर,
letting me.
थैंक यू,
Thank you.
जय हिंद।
Jai Hind, Jai Hind. Have a great day. Thank you.
Yeah, yes, sir. Thank you, audience, for giving us your patience listening. Ideas, feedbacks, and comments are always welcome. Do like and subscribe. Jai Hind.